This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Something unexpected happened after Jeremy Scott confessed to killing Michelle Schofield in Bone Valley Season 1.
Every time I hear about my dad, it's, oh, he's a killer. He's just straight evil.
I was becoming the bridge between Jeremy Scott and the son he'd never known.
At the end of the day, I'm literally a son of a killer.
Listen to new episodes of Bone Valley Season 2 starting April 9th on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Zuccarello at center point. Peels at the Boldy. Outside the left circle. Back to Zuccarello. Once more Boldy. He's got a lane left circle. Walks in. Back to Zuccarello. Hurried shot. They score! Marco Rossi at the back post. Wins it in overtime. And the Wild beat the Stars in St. Paul 3 to the final.
That was kind of an effortless game winner. Zucchi to Rossi, and he guides it just inside the pipe. And as we've mentioned a couple of times now, the Wild needed that one like they needed to breathe. And good morning, 9 to noon devotees. Into the second hour of the presentation, here comes Mick Tocchet, beloved Mick Tocchet. He's Minnesota hockey immortality. Why? He's on the mural at Mariucci. And a lot of players have played for the Golden Gophers hockey team. Not many are on the mural. Mick Tocchet is. I'll learn more about him and follow him as 9 to noon does, if you are so inclined, via the X machine at PatMick2626, at PatMick2626. The boys needed that one badly yesterday, and good morning.
Good morning. Yes, they certainly did. This game's a funny game, isn't it? You lose to a team that's not very good. Hard to play against the Islanders. They always are. They defend well, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But they needed the 2 points, and boy, did they get them. They got them.
You know more about the league as a whole than I do, especially the Eastern Conference teams. But watching these games intently, because it's meat grinder time, it's the Islanders. I see what you're saying. No Brock Nelson. I mean, they're falling in the standings. Yep. The Rangers, I remember we went Mick Tocchet on it and chatted with you before a Vox in the Box and how leaky they can get on defense. And Shesterkin is like near the bottom of the NHL with goals against and save percentage, stuff like that. Like, where'd that come from? But then you get to the Devils. Of those three, the Devils, even when they're down, Quinn Hughes, right?
And
Dougie Hamilton.
Correct.
So even when they're down 2 or 3 of their guys who matter, they're still tricky as bleep to play. I mean, they're tough, especially their special teams. I didn't see the Islanders as that kind of team, and it looks to be a team that's definitely heading the wrong way.
Yep.
We were so lethargic in that Islanders game. I was greatly concerned into the Stars game.
Well, how could you not be? But then again, this team is a team of, and it's been like this pretty much all season long. I mean, they're just resilient enough. When they have their stinker, they're going to have it.
Yeah.
And then, the sky's falling. They're the worst team in the world, blah, blah, blah. But then you see them come back with an effort that they had yesterday.
Yeah.
And
when they got down 1-0, I thought it might get ugly here in a minute.
And
sure. It didn't.
And it didn't.
Right.
And they stuck with it. And that's this has been a team that, as I just mentioned, when they have a stinker, they have a stinker. But that doesn't happen a lot. But when it does, and when they're down guys, it looks 10 times worse, right?
Yeah.
And when a team is rolling like the St. Louis Blues are rolling right now, they're rolling because of a belief, of a work ethic, of a buy-in to exactly what Jim Montgomery, and it's methodical. It's rhythm. It's rhythm. And so Minnesota, for the most part, they always have the work ethic. It's hard to get into that rhythm of winning, when you're out 2 guys like they have been, when they're out 3 guys like they have been. And so, but the one constant has been for the majority of the time is their work ethic, and it played out yesterday.
Well, with St. Louis, I mean, since you took the conversation there.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, this is the team that can win the Stanley Cup. And I'm going to get the odds here in a minute. But here's why. And I watched some of their game this weekend, 2 days ago against Colorado.
5-4.
Well, but here's the deal. So they had won like 6-7 in a row. They went to the Mile Get High City. And it was a super tight checking type game. They won like 2-1. 3-2. They won. So they're like with McKinnon and Nelson and the rest of the cats they have now. We can beat you in a low scoring game.
Right.
Fast forward to this weekend. It's a rodeo. It's racehorse hockey. I mean, you got clowns in the stands. You got bucking broncos. You got barrel riding and everything. They beat them 5-4. So I think that says a lot, man, especially with the Avalanche, where we can beat you in a high-scoring game, or if you want to muck this thing up, we can beat you that way, too.
The ability to adapt to how a game is presented to you is critical. Now, if you look at the Minnesota Wild, I don't think they can ever get into a game going forward that is going to be a high-scoring affair.
Yeah. Not with this group.
Not with even if they get Kaprizov and Ekbak and playing. They're not built like that. Mm-hmm. They don't have a Cale Makar per se. Maybe it'll be Steve William in years to come. But right now, they're not built like that. They don't play like that. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. But, that's what is so hard. You look at the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, good luck getting to each of their finals, right?
Yeah.
Because there's so many good teams and there's so many teams that are alike. Every team has enough star power, I should say.
Yep.
So it's all, to me, going to come down to health and goaltending.
Yeah.
When it gets to that point.
Bennington. Okay, Bennington was,
but he's not afraid to play the other guy.
But he was right. Okay, well, Bennington has had the majority of the victories here during this winning streak.
And he's won a cup.
Bennington, that's what I was going to say. Yep. He's won a cup. He's been a good goals against, save percentage guy, reliable guy, even when they were middling. And now he's the best goalie right now. He's the best goaltender in the National Hockey League at this moment. Either him or Hellebuck, right?
Oh,
because of how hot Bennington is.
Of course, right. And we're not talking about Winnipeg, but you just brought up Winnipeg. We're not talking about Winnipeg,
right? We're talking about St. Louis.
Yeah, I know.
Well, here's the deal. Okay, so do you know who's? Well, you were just in Las Vegas, so you probably know this. The Dallas Stars are favored to win the Stanley Cup. They are plus 550, so they're 5.5 to 1. Okay, now at this stage of the equation, 5.5 to 1 is a little higher than you would get on anybody at this stage of the equation.
For sure.
Generally, you're thinking 3 3/4 to 1, 4 and low whatever to 1. So this is.
What are the Wild? 25?
I'm looking at the FanDuel Sportsbook right now. This so there's a tell that when you have teams jumbled together, like the Stars, the Panthers, the Golden Knights, the Hurricanes, and the Avalanche. They're all separated by 5.5 to 1 up to the Lanch at 9 to 1. Then the Oilers at 10 to 1. Ovi's team 11 to 1. The Jets are 11 to 1.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a really good number on the Jets.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Lightning 11 to 1. Leafs 15 to 1.
Leafs 15 to 1.
15 to 1.
15 to 1.
They're going to lose in the first round. They always do stuff like that.
They're going to play Tampa.
All right. Yeah, they always hook somebody incredible in the first round.
Florida. I mean, Ottawa, Florida is dropping. Yeah. Ottawa's moving up. Ottawa might catch them.
How about that?
Oh, it's great.
Talk it. Speaking of Ottawa, this just amazes me. Maybe it shouldn't. So the Dallas Stars favored to win the Stanley Cup. All right. So they're trying, if they're playing the game and they're trying to hold off somebody or catch somebody and like play the game where you want to hand pick who your first round opponent's going to be. The bottom line is they went all out yesterday to win that game. I mean, Robertson, Granlund, Dumba in the 14 he played. Right. Ben looked as spry as I would imagine he's looked in a while. So with the Stars, they're favored in this equation, but right around them. Okay, let me just lay it out like this: with the Wild, Who do you prefer in the first round and why? Winnipeg, Dallas, or Vegas? It's going to be one of them.
I don't like the Vegas matchup because I just think they're too big and burly, and they play a wall game, and yet we
haven't beaten Winnipeg in like 2 years or something. We
haven't beaten Winnipeg, but I kind of like that matchup a little bit, even though they have Hellebuck. Okay,
yeah.
I think Minnesota can frustrate a team like them more so than Dallas
at full strength.
At full strength.
So this could be a Kaprizov week with Eriksson Ek, no idea.
No.
Closer, we are close. I was going to say closer right to the end, but we're there.
Right.
Damn.
And so
Middleton.
I like the matchup against Winnipeg better than I do Dallas or Vegas.
Well, here's what I lost my train of thought. I just think this is amazing. So Dallas is going bleeps to the wall for positioning and points and all that. They lost to Pittsburgh on Saturday in Dallas, and they traveled.
Yeah, didn't play Ottinger, but whatever.
But the last time the Dallas Stars lost a back-to-back, with or without travel, the second part of the back-to-back, mid-January against Ottawa. I mean, they'd gone 2 months and change on back-to-backs. Ottinger not playing both, travel involved sometimes, not involved other times. And all they do is win the second part of a back-to-back. That just further exemplifies kind of how much of an outlier that Wild win was yesterday. Wild obviously needed it. When they got down 1-0, man, and that game slowed down a lot, I'm like, we're in trouble because we just don't have any pop right now. But then when they got that Boldy goal and they all started loving on each other, sweet pass to Moose, and he got in there, mouth of the goal.
Right.
Well, then now all of a sudden it's that's hockey, and here we are, we're ready to play. And something got into them yesterday. They just jumped up.
Yeah, and sometimes it's the matchup, it's the team, it's the whatever motivation you have. Like you're going into the island, right, to play the New York Islanders after beating or getting a point out of the Rangers.
So the Islanders actually play at Belmont Park? Yeah, yes. where the horses race, right?
Correct.
Damn. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, brand new building.
Right.
And so, the motivation, and Dallas being the foe that they are, is gonna get your juices going a little bit. And so, that was very helpful in helping them get over the edge yesterday.
Okay, so the Minnesota Wild, you said 25-1 to win the Stanley Cup.
That's what I'm thinking.
Actually, 44-1. I'm just telling you right now, man. Like the Kings when they were in 8, and it was kind of wide open. There are a lot of good teams. There's nobody playing better than the Blues, who have won 10 or 11 consecutive, and again beat Colorado in a high-scoring game Saturday, 2 weeks after beating them in a low-scoring game. So that's a tell right there of how hot they are. The St. Louis Blues are 41-1 to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah,
I mean that's a $10 spotty just on principle. If you happen to be in a state where spotting up's not treated like slapping your fattest vein and putting a tourniquet around your arm and injecting something.
I mean, and when you get to the playoffs, I'll add it's all about there could be a team that should win the cup and they don't match up in the first round against a team that they're playing, and they can get beat.
Right.
They can get beat.
Yeah.
Which would, help your cause if you have a team. That's why you asked me, who do I think? I think their best chances would be against a team like Winnipeg. Winnipeg scores a lot of goals and they're high octane. They got great goaltender. Their D is good, but they're not great.
Yeah.
And so that opens the door a little bit for Minnesota from that perspective. And then you have LA Kings, right? I picked Edmonton to win it at the beginning of the year. I'm like, okay, they got a taste of it.
Yep.
And they lost in the finals and they got, but their goaltending is another story. But they're going to face LA Kings in the first round. I would not want to play the Los Angeles Kings in the first round of the playoffs. Well, because they're
size,
they're deep.
Kopitar's still super good.
I mean, they've got some high end players. Fiala's playing really well.
Yep.
And so it all depends on the matchup that you have in the first round. whoa. Then you say, oh, we got by Winnipeg. Now we face, whoever. And, and in Vegas, if you don't want to play them.
Yeah.
But they could lose in the first round.
Right.
And they're a team that is really, really good, that has Stanley Cup aspirations.
Now, McTockett was not in the 702 necessarily to spot up on like the Houston Cougars to the Florida Gators. He was there to see these guys. I'm going to get 19 seconds here. 11, 12, 17 and a half, 18 and a half, and did you see the Eagles at the Sphere?
Unbelievable.
Why?
The show itself was fantastic, but just being in that place.
Right. First time in there?
First time in there. And you felt like you were outside, and it was, the screen that they have. It was just. Can
you take pictures in there or do video?
Yeah, you can do
video.
They let you?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll show you later.
So I've never been.
Yep.
When the Vikings played the Raiders, that 3-0 debacle where Dobbs threw Jefferson the hospital ball.
Yeah.
And Justin actually went to the hospital because of it.
Yes.
I believe you too.
That hurt.
I believe you too was playing at the Sphere, and it just had kind of opened. Or just had started. And there were a bunch of people. I think Seahawk and a bunch of others went. I didn't get a chance to go. They responded exactly the way you did. Yeah. That it's just such a surreal experience. Now I haven't looked into it or looked at videos or pictures or anything. But I've seen the Sphere, the actual location of it. I envision like a band on a stage. And
with a movie screen.
Okay, all like over you and all around you.
All around you.
So if it's like Hotel California, then you see like a desert with tumbleweeds blowing. Is it like that?
It was just, it was surreal. It really was. But the best part of the trip, right? And I have to tell this story.
Really?
We're there for my sister's birthday. My sister Andrea. It was her birthday on Saturday. So I get a call Saturday morning. My brother Joe.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
Can't find you on Beyond the Pond?
Hey, yeah. No, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't invite him on Beyond the Pond.
What?
No, on Friday he called. On Friday he called, and he says, "Hey, how's it going? When's the show's tomorrow night? Yeah, how's the weather? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, you're staying there. How was that? Oh, good. So, okay, have a good trip. Say hi to Andrew, my sister, and blah blah blah. So I'm in playing video blackjack.
Yeah.
Just killing time.
Yeah, seems definitely like an easy game to beat.
I get a call from security. I get a call.
What?
Is this Pat Micheletti? Yes, it is.
What? At the hotel.
At the hotel.
From the hotel.
From the hotel. Is your sister's Andrea, right? I'm like, yeah, it is. Well, we found out it's her birthday, and we're going to give her a $100 voucher.
I always love that. Wow.
Okay. All right. I'm like, well, how'd you know it was her birthday? Oh, we looked it up.
Yeah.
And she says, I'm right over here.
Wow.
Look to your right.
You got a sister with that high ranking of a VIP card?
Wait.
Are you kidding me?
It gets better.
Okay.
So I look over and she's waving. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. I'll be right over while I'm mashing. Right. And so I'm playing, right? And two arms on my shoulder.
Uh-oh.
I turn around. My brother Joe.
He set you up.
He
and pulled
set
it
me
off.
up and pulled. My sister didn't know.
Did you cry?
I was like, it was awesome.
Wow.
He flew, from New York. To meet us.
Wow.
And it was great. My sister was really
A+ story.
Yeah.
Who got security in on it?
Joe.
And now we're definitely not mentioning the hotel.
Yeah,
because people are going to be going to like this hotel going, I heard you did it for the Michelettis.
But it was set up by my brother Joe.
Wow.
And I didn't see him over there, right? So we had a great time.
So how many did you have at the show?
And he had to get back, and he's got a game tonight.
Wow. How many did you have at the show?
6.
6 at the Sphere for the Eagles. All right, so Don Henley on drums.
Yeah, 77 years old.
Okay, Joe Walsh,
77 years old.
What was Timothy B. Schmidt? Did he play?
I believe.
Yeah, he used to be in a band called Poco.
Yes,
long haired guy.
Yes.
Okay, and I Can't Tell You Why is like his big song with the Eagles.
Right,
higher pitched voice. He was there.
Yes.
Glenn Fry's son, Deacon.
Fabulous.
He's still in the mix?
Oh, my God.
Oh, I thought Deacon quit the band.
No.
I mean, God rest the soul of Glenn Fry, but.
Was fabulous.
Wow, Deacon Fry.
Yeah.
Holy
yeah,
cow.
Vince Gill.
Right. Vince Gill?
Vince Gill, yes.
Oh, Vince Gill is like, he's filling in for, he's been
there, yeah.
Joe Walsh, wow, damn, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
How, so truly, I mean, these experience specifically with your sister and Joe and the hotel and everything, and you hitting 16s against face cards, against a computer algorithm, which makes it really, really easy to win, I'm sure.
Hey, I won.
Okay, you
so
had fun.
It didn't matter. Yeah.
Okay, but how do they sound? I mean, like when Don Henley hits Desperado,
pretty darn good.
Still sounds good.
Joe Walsh, it might want to not, but he made fun of. But listen, he made fun of himself.
Did he?
You know, which just endeared. I mean, people went crazy when he started.
Oh, they love him.
Yeah.
All right. So did they do this one?
Witchy Woman? Is that
Witchy Woman?
No, they didn't do that.
They didn't do Witchy Woman? Oh, see? Because Don Henley might not be able to get up there to the Witchy Woman note.
Well, listen.
All right, what about this?
Yes.
Peacefully easy feeling. All right. I mean, that's 100%.
They ended it with it.
I wonder, so did they have that song first or did Linda Ronstadt?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question.
Well, there's an Eagles documentary, I believe, on Netflix that you should watch.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Where Glenn Fry and Jackson Brown stayed together.
You told me this story.
Yeah, so basically it was like the Troubadour on Santa Monica Boulevard, Monday nights. You had to audition to get into the audition. And Kenny Rogers was super big by that time. So, he had The Gambler, probably had Lady, which was written by Lionel Richie, all that. So I mean, Kenny Rogers was popping tags. So he started to promote others and find new acts. There was a night, and I hope I get this right. I'm going to get 2 out of 3 right. There was a night at the Troubadour. That Monday night, only 3 get to audition. They each do like 3 songs or 4 songs. And in no particular order, it went, ladies and gentlemen, this drummer from Austin, Texas, sings it really well, also plays the drum when he sings, ladies and gentlemen, Don Henley. So before he was in the Eagles. Then after that, I think it was Jackson Brown or Carole King, one of the two.
Right.
But the last one was Linda Ronstadt. And, I mean, she just came in and just blew him away. So then Kenny's like, well, we got to get Linda Ronstadt together with Don Henley, this guy I know, Glenn Fry, Jackson Brown. Jackson Brown and Fry lived together. And
I did not know that.
They could not just get the right sound or the right thing going. So Brown's out of the bit. Linda sang Desperado. Don Henley does an incredible job with it. But
apparently that was it was their song.
Yep.
But it was Linda Ronstadt doing it that made Desperado the song that it is today. So they did the whole bit.
Yeah.
And it was just it was a song. Yeah. And then Linda did it, and everyone's like, "Whoa, holy cats!" And now it's one of their most well-known bits.
Yeah, my guy is Daryl Hall and John Oates.
Yep.
Now this is with all due respect to the Righteous Brothers, but You Lost That Love and Feeling. What was not as many people knew it until it went on the Voices album with Daryl Hall and John Oates with Kiss on My List and You Make My Dreams and You Lost That Love and Feeling. It blew up, kind of the same story. So that's kind of how they got the Eagles together off that audition and everything. And you say they still sound good, man. That's cool.
50 years they've been together.
Jeez. All right, so are they the Eagles, the house band here? Or are they doing a farewell band?
They were supposed to end that. The show I saw was their 30th show.
Yeah.
And from what I understood, they've extended it another week.
Wow.
And they'll probably,
they're immortality.
They are.
Yeah, they have one of the greatest sounds in the history of music.
And the sound was fabulous.
I can imagine.
Yeah, which was, if you just sat there and didn't hear the vocals and you just let him play.
Can you imagine how scared you, beloved Andrea, and baby Joe Micheletti would have been if they had done Witchy Woman and then used all of the sphere with witches and goblins and demons and things like that just coming at you?
Oh, man.
You'd be scared.
Fabulous.
All right, now the Wild very well could be in the National Hockey League playoffs. And
we've always believed that
9 to noon has a Box in the Box Wednesday. The beleaguered Sharks are in town.
Yep.
On that and much more coming around the corner with Mick Tocchet, Pat Micheletti, KFAN.
Something unexpected happened after Jeremy Scott confessed to killing Michelle Schofield in Bone Valley Season 1.
I just knew him as a kid.
Long, silent voices from his past came forward.
And he was just staring at me.
And they had secrets of their own to share.
Gilbert King. I'm the son of Jeremy Lynn Scott.
I was no longer just telling the story. I was part of it.
Every time I hear about my dad, it's, he's a killer. He's just straight evil.
I was becoming the bridge between a killer and the son he'd never known.
If the cops and everything would have done their job properly, my dad would have been in jail. I would have never existed.
I never expected to find myself in this place. Now, I need to tell you how I got here.
At the end of the day, I'm literally a son of a killer.
Bone Valley, Season 2. Jeremy.
Jeremy, I want to tell you something.
Listen to new episodes of Bone Valley Season 2 starting April 9th on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And to hear the entire new season ad-free with exclusive content starting April 9th, subscribe to Lava for Good Plus on Apple Podcasts.
And the fan.
Oh, good. Come on! Ooh! No! 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 It just drives me absolutely batty. You homer! Oh, good. Right side to Wilson, centered up. Oh, that's good. Hassan, he scores! He scores! Alex Ovechkin scores 895!
Fire away.
Holy Toledo!
Wow, wasn't that fun?
Hashtag Faith Radio.
Let's go. Let's go, everybody. Let's go. Good morning.
Thank you, St. Paul.
Oh, my. Wasn't that good?
I'm here to serve you.
What do you think of Marco Rossi's overall game?
Well, that's a hard one to answer. I think you have to give him a lot of credit for everything that he's gone through and how hard he has worked, and he's had a very productive season. I've got to see it in the playoffs when it really, really gets hard. And listen, people say I'm negative towards him. I'm not. I just haven't seen what he can do in the playoffs yet. And I'm hoping that he has a great playoff because they're going to need him because he's going to be in the, one of their top two centers going into the playoffs. So, for now. And so, I'm cheering for him. And I want him to do well, but I've got to see it because it's a completely different animal. We all know, we've talked about it until we're blue in the face, how different the playoffs are. And they are every shift. You're getting hit. You're getting, you don't get to the net as easily. It's faster and all of that. And I just want to see how he can handle it, and I hope he does well.
Mick Tocchet.
So the beleaguered Sharks are here Wednesday.
Yeah, you got to take care of business.
It's a box in the box game at Tria. I mean, it's minimal. I'd like to say no chance they slip up here, but it's minimal chance the Wild slip up, right?
It's minimal, but it's the National Hockey League. Yeah. And sometimes we say teams are terrible, or are they this, or are they that? It's the best league in the world. So if you take a night off or you as a team, I'm not talking individual, I'm talking as a team, they just don't play, then you know what? They'll lose. And that goes for every team in the National Hockey League. And so this is a must win for them on Wednesday night.
Why don't they ever play? Now I know Buss has been more productive than Flower this year. They never play Flower.
No, not anymore. And I just think that they made that determination that okay, we got to keep this guy sharp. We got to keep him ready. We got to get him in that mindset of playing every night in the playoffs. And so I think it's a mental buildup for him to they're not going to tire him out at this stage of the season. And they want to get him to that point where he's mentally dialed in every night to have a great game every night of the playoffs.
And so it wouldn't be one of those situations like it was a few years ago where it's Talbot season on the line. You throw Flower in there, that type of thing. Or it was Flower, then Talbot, I should say. So if this is how it is at this moment, Pat, we're saying that Gus Buss in the playoffs every single game.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, no question.
I don't think it's even a question. And that was, looking back at that year of Talbot, who was the other guy? I can't even remember. Talbot and who was the other guy? I don't know.
It was Fleury.
It was Fleury.
In the Blues series.
He had just gotten here.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then they started with Fleury and who should they start game one? And back then I didn't care. But how they mixed it up and decided in an elimination game, all of a sudden we're going to go with Talbot after you play a guy, that scenario didn't work out. That told me of a team desperate. Okay. And you roll the dice with it and it obviously didn't work out. And it didn't matter who the goaltender was. They were not going to win that series. And in fact, going back to that series, I recall talking to the play-by-play guy, Chris Kerber, for the St. Louis Blues. He says, mark my words, Minnesota will get shut out on the power play in this series. Jeez. Jim Montgomery was the assistant coach of the Blues back then.
Yeah.
Craig Berube was the head coach. And he said, he's got it all dialed in. They will not score on the power play. They did not.
The Jake Middleton injury.
Oh, boy.
Shoved into the boards by Bo Horvat.
Yeah.
Pretty violently, too. And the ref called a minor. Now, what transpired after that, according to Russo Radio? It's, I know you were just in Las Vegas this weekend, so, like reading.
Did you watch it?
Yeah. Yeah, he pushed him.
He did with his left hand. He gave him just a little nudge. But my point going into that, they were both going at a high rate of speed.
Yeah, that's why you don't even nudge with your left arm.
No.
So it was too close to the boards for my liking.
100% anytime.
It's a major.
I don't care. Every game that I call, I don't care if it's a Mike game to a NHL game.
Yeah.
You hit from behind like that, and the chances of injury are astronomical.
Yes.
Right? It's a major.
Yes.
I don't care.
Right.
Period. Stop. There is no in between for me. But, and they only gave him a minor.
So, another reason 15.
Yeah.
Why 9 to noon is super happy the Wild got the money yesterday. I mean, because tensions that they had hit a all-time high for this season. And quite honestly, X amount of seasons. When you have the Horvat situation, it's called a minor. Ref guy, Von Helleman, heads over to talk with Heinze.
Yep.
It's the maddest I've seen John Hines.
I didn't see that.
As coach of the Minnesota Wild.
Right.
I mean, because.
And the general manager.
Well, that's the bit, is according to Russo Radio, the general manager went pear-shaped after the Islanders' loss. Allegedly, Guerin walked out of the locker room after the loss, blurted to reporters not to ask Hines questions about the minor penalty. Instead, head to the ref's room and, quote, ask that bleeping bleep hole. Okay, so that's to the assembled media. He's hot. Eyes are red, writes Russo. Then Hines was starting his presser after the Islanders game, all right? And Guerin then yells to the coach not to answer any questions about the penalty and instead ask, quote, that bleeping bleep hole, end of quote, talking about Andy Von Helleman or the iteration thereof. Wow. I mean, it's okay, he's right, he's mad, but tensions are amazingly high when that happens.
Right. And that, call me crazy on this comment, but that may have been an inspiration for them for their next game.
Right.
We're not going to get pushed around. We're gonna get after it. Mm-hmm. We're not going to be taken advantage of by another team, another official, whatever the case may be. And that was I would venture to say a very well-timed rant by the general manager.
I don't think it was concocted. No. I think it organically happened.
Which is
but
how
you can feel how mad he was by reading Russo's story in The Athletic.
And you know when something is organic and when something is used as a tool, whatever you want. And they responded.
Lastly, or part of the last bit, Frozen 4 this week.
Yes.
It's about time, seriously. Do we get Zeev Boyum after it? Because it just seems that Declan Chisholm is just working on Hines' last nerve right now.
Yeah, well, I think for two reasons, okay? The kid is ultra talented. I mean, he is super good.
Right.
And he's, you look at guys and you say, are they just going to go in and just not try not to make a mistake? Mm-hmm. This kid has no fear. He has no fear, and he plays with an edge, and he's got a little cockiness to him. And it was like, I don't care, bring it on. Mm-hmm. And so I think from that perspective, he's got the mentality to jump in and play and not miss a beat. Secondly, I think this team obviously has a hard time getting to 3 goals right now. Don't know it's reality. They get 3 more often than not. They're not going to give up 4. Okay.
Right.
It's just the way they are and the way that they play. Fine. Every team has a way to win. I think he's going to be able to produce offensively, which is really going to open things up. That adds a 4th guy to your offense when you're entering the zone, when you're in the zone, all of that. So I think they're going to give him a crack at it right away, even if they have 1 or 2 games left.
DU, Western Michigan, Pennsylvania State University, and BU.
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of. I say there's going to be a lot of goals scored in that game because they both have the ability to score, but they both have really good goalies. Mm-hmm. They both have Russian goalies. Arseny Sergeyev he's 6'5", 6'6" for Penn State. Been the best goalie in the country. Mm-hmm. Not even close, in my opinion. Yeah. From December to now.
Okay. And who do you like tonight and why? The Gators are small favorites against the Cougars.
Well, I really like the way the Cougars play defense. I mean, they get after it, and they're tough. And so can Florida have the patience?
Right.
Because they're going to need to be patient against this team.
Yeah.
The baskets are not going to be easy ones. Mm-hmm. Do they get frustrated when they miss a few in a row or not getting on the boards? And Houston doesn't quit. So I'm going to give the edge to the Cougars.
If Houston wins tonight,
yes,
it will be such a massive accomplishment. Not necessarily because of who is playing. Yeah. It's what just happened. It's when you're down 7 points with a minute and change to go or whatever, and you got the number 1 pick in the draft on the other side. And now all of a sudden, what? They called a foul on him?
Yeah.
What? Where did that come from for Cooper Flagg?
And he's like,
that was an emotion.
Called it on me?
That was right. Well, it was a terrible call.
It was an awful call. It was.
Yeah. And it turned the game. A game that was turning.
Yeah.
But when you beat that team and that guy emotionally right at the wire the way you do, races like that take a lot out of you. So with Houston, I think that there will be a regression this evening.
You do?
Slight. Yeah. It may be enough to still win the championship, But that was a massive, 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 not only win, but the emotional way they did win.
I'm gonna flip it on you. Doesn't beating Duke and Cooper Flagg, the best player in college basketball, say
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, the tough thing for Florida, too, I mean, if Houston can, because I'm with UPA, but if Houston can defeat that, Florida has had to come back in their last two victories. Now, they're good enough to do it. You talk about patience. I think Florida is going to be very patient. They've had to be in the two biggest games they've played in this tourney.
I agree.
But if Houston can defeat that, it's got to be pedal for all 40 because Florida will come charging in the second half and the ability to fend them off. I mean, this, as cool as it was if you're a Houston fan to beat Cooper Flagg, I think this is actually a bigger test in that regard. To overcome the emotion of the other night.
And here I'm picking Houston, and I picked Florida to win the whole thing on my bracket.
Wow, so you're going to be scooping even more chips after Florida wins this evening.
Yeah, those hedge clippers out.
Unfortunately.
Okay, and lastly, I promised Scotty Scheffler 4.5-1 to win the Masters. McIlroy 6.5-1. Big dip to John Rahm 14-1. Masters, who do you like?
Well, if I told you and you picked before me, well, you don't pick my guys. Why does Shane Lowry keep going in my head?
Yeah.
He keeps going in my head.
Shane Lowry?
Yeah.
Bro, that's 35-1.
I know.
Okay. So if you have the fourth pick in the draft, are you taking Shane Lowry?
I might take him at 1.
Oh, come on. If you want to take him at 1,
I'll see you Wednesday at 4.
Yeah, I think it's 3.
Oh,
yeah. Check your text. You've been called by security this weekend. Birthday parties.
Yeah, show up at 4, Talkin. Yep. Show up at 4.
Yeah, I know. Well, by the time you show up at 4,
will still be available.
Yeah, that'll be the spot to take Shane Lowry an hour into the draft. I'm just kidding. All right, love you, bud. See you soon, all right?
Yep.
Pat Micheletti at Pat Mick 2626. Parker Fox on some basketball about 15 minutes from now. News do.
Something unexpected happened after Jeremy Scott confessed to killing Michelle Schofield in Bone Valley Season 1.
I just knew him as a kid.
Long, silent voices from his past came forward.
And he was just staring at me.
And they had secrets of their own to share.
Gilbert King. I'm the son of Jeremy Lynn Scott.
I was no longer just telling the story. I was part of it.
Every time I hear about my dad, it's, oh, he's a killer. He's just straight evil.
I was becoming the bridge between a killer and the son he'd never known.
If the cops and everything would have done their job properly, my dad would have been in jail. I would have never existed.
I never expected to find myself in this place. Now, I need to tell you how I got here.
At the end of the day, I'm literally a son of a killer.
Bone Valley, Season 2. Jeremy.
Jeremy, I want to tell you something.
Listen to new episodes of Bone Valley Season 2 starting April 9th on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And to hear the entire new season ad-free with exclusive content starting April 9th, subscribe to Lava for Good Plus on Apple Podcasts.
Nord is...
What up, News to Nord? It's brought to you by The Casino at Canterbury Park, CanterburyPark.com. Feeling the felt all year long, poker, blackjack, and table games. Matt, we were talking with Mick Tockett in the studio last couple of segments. You mentioned being in Vegas. You mentioned winning some money. Is there anything worse? And I don't know how many or who you've traveled with, but you've been to Vegas enough, so I know this has happened to you. You're feeling the felt. You lose 7, 8, 9, $1,000 on the tables. Couple of bad shoes. You roll back and one of your buddies been playing minimum video poker while sipping a 7 and 7 at the bar. Well, I won $25.
Yeah, right.
Is there anything more frustrating than that, coming back and seeing somebody?
Right.
Yeah, I just hit a royal flush on this penny machine.
No, it falls under the category of etiquette.
Oh yeah.
It's etiquette within wagering. And I've just done it long enough in the horse racing business where it's not frustrating to me that, you may be betting black chips and somebody's betting blue chips. And they won what was commensurate to what they invested. You lost what was commensurate to what you invested.
Yeah.
It's the etiquette part. The etiquette within betting is when the con has a $330 ticket to scoop 630 and the game's coming down to the wire, and then you got, you have blue chip ticket guy who's acting like that he just hit the lottery.
Right.
I mean, kind of like, yeah, told you.
Right.
Well, see, that's when people get punched. And no, I'm being serious, because it's like, handle your business the way you want to handle your business. But, like for the con, this isn't some wear a lampshade, become 0.20 and just play 10-team parlays. No, this is supplemental income.
Like to make some money.
You put time into it.
I've been next to somebody who lost, I think it was almost $30,000 on a bet.
Damn. And how is Charles Barkley?
I was on the other side of it in the 702, and I had kind of been paying attention, and sometimes you can tell, sometimes you can't.
Yeah.
But you could kind of tell what was going on over in this mix. And I hit a weekend saving parlay on my side.
Boom.
No, you just hand the football to the ref and you walk away.
Yeah.
And then you celebrate maybe 100 feet over here and get your buddies some beers.
And the celebration is like, yes. Oh, wow, did we need that, boys?
Yeah.
It's not I told you this was going to happen. I told you this team would win. You're stupid for thinking this would be an under, blah, blah, blah. And there are a lot of know-it-alls like that in the 702. But then the next layer is just wondering, what their lot in life is. And it's not, speculating. I'm not one to speculate like, hey, might not have a job, might be broke, might just have gotten into an argument, might have just this. No, I don't do that. I just wonder what leads a person to be that foolishly loud.
Oh, yeah.
It's like last week. If you had been here on a Monday, or if you had been here on a Friday, you would have liked this rare political line I unfurled, because Greenway and Charge were talking about stocks. And I'm like, you guys like stocks, right? And they're like, go on. And I'm like, all right. I have a suggestion with what happened in the market on Thursday. I would suggest buying a large amount of Sherwin-Williams. And they're like, what? I go, yeah, can you imagine how many barrels of paint
I always love that
are going to be sold today for those idiots painting the Teslas and the dealerships and everything?
I always love that.
Sherwin-Williams is a cinch to buy today. Why? Because they're idiots. All right, am I casting a judgment? No. I'm reacting to what I and or we see, which is just idiotic.
Yes.
It's different than
the worst.
Turning the cheek on my man who just scooped, whatever, and you took a bad L. And it's like, man, you know what? I'm just going to walk away from this because I got no idea what's going on with my man over there. So, hey, God bless him, and hopefully you win 2 in a row.
So whether you win $10 or win 10 grand, you can do all of that at Canterbury Park, and it's an absolute blast. And I think we're less than 2 months. We're in the area from live racing here. So let's just get the freaking season rolling. The Twins, we were begging for that as they kicked off the season, and they kicked off the home season on Thursday against the Houston Astros. Up 7-1 at one point. Then it was trouble for Paddock. It was trouble for Griffin Jacks. Griffin Jacks, best reliever, I think, in the bullpen for the Twins a year ago. 3 appearances thus far. Hasn't gotten out clean yet. So we're looking for more from Mr. Jacks, but the season doesn't stop. There's $162 of them. They are at Kansas City starting today. Simeon Woods Richardson is on the mound, and we're watching out for Bobby Witt Jr. So I still saw, I think it's now this hamstring thing with Royce Lewis has turned from like a 10-day thing to now maybe he's multiple weeks from being healthy. So as the world turns with that, but the Twins at 3-6, they started with a 3-6 record a year ago. Nobody sweat it. Ton of games to go, but you'd like to see more offensively from your favorite team.
Made some plays Thursday with the box in the press box. Got in good with Harrison Bader.
Where'd you get that shirt?
Got in good. It's a sweatshirt, and it was courtesy of the Minnesota Twins. Got a 3-2. Got in good with Harrison Bader. Got in good with the bench coach who used to be the manager of the Padres. So we have some good Twins-related things cooking for the spring, summer of fun with the Minnesota Twin-Igmatics. It's we're not treating baseball like football, but when you're without one of your better hitters and you're up 7-1 and you're at home and you're looking to meatloaf a team that has Yordan Alvarez and Jose Altuve, Well, you have to close on that.
Yeah, you do.
You just have to. Is it season changing? No. Why? Because it's a marathon. So now they get Lorenzen tonight. He's middle of the road. I thought Woods Richardson looked okay in his game against the White Sox. If you're playing Prize Picks tonight, consider Alvarez and Altuve against Logan Gilbert against Seattle. So just consider those.
Last thing for you, we covered hockey with Mick Tockett, but we are watching Calgary at San Jose tonight. Calgary at San Jose. San Jose, the next opponent of the Wild. Wednesday, we're doing Vox in the Box. We're rooting for the Sharks in the tank tonight against the Flames. And then to the Wolves, they've won 5 in a row. And next up, they are at Milwaukee tomorrow night. Looking forward to that. And we're going to have Parker Fox in studio, so we're going to talk a bunch of Howl along with the national title game tonight.
Hey, now, hold on. What happened with the Howl? We were the 6, now we're the 7. We won 5 in a row for Fincho.
4-way tie terrorism, I think.
Okay, so Golden State lost to Houston. And I'm kind of like, hey, that's good news. Memphis beat Miami the other night. Yep. Oh, Miami had them dead beat. Morant went nuts late. Think he hit the game winner. Clippers they're a little in and out now, but they're starting to bounce back a little.
Yeah, they've won 4 straight, I think.
But I don't understand how Golden State loses and we drop.
Yeah, I don't get it either. It's got to
be a conference or head-to-head.
Tie-breaking aficionados can tell us, but basically it was Golden State 5, Wolves 6, and then I forget whether it was Clips or Memphis 7-8. But then with the 4-way tie, because Golden State lost, Golden State drops to 6.
Oh.
Clippers vault to 5.
What?
And the Wolves now are in 7th place. That's the current standings as I see it on ESPN. Yeah. So we don't like the 4-way tie. It's working against us. Let's go beat. Dame's out, but let's go beat Greek Freak and Bobby Portis is suspended. I don't know who's left.
Portis should be back soon.
Brooke Lopez.
Yeah.
Let's go beat Brooke Lopez tomorrow night.
Something called Austin Jackson.
I'd love to see another 18-19 rebound performance from Stifle. That'll be fun.
Texting Freeman between segments, and the next segment includes Parker Fox. He's an elite basketball mind, and that's where the show goes when 9 to noon returns. It's 11:02 at FM 100.3 KFAN.
Something unexpected happened after Jeremy Scott confessed to killing Michelle Schofield in Bone Valley Season 1.
Every time I hear about my dad, he's a killer. He's just straight evil.
I was becoming the bridge between Jeremy Scott and the son he'd never known.
At the end of the day, I'm literally a son of a killer.
Listen to new episodes of Bone Valley Season 2 starting April 9th on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.